Welcome to the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I'm Morgan, and I'm thrilled to be your host and wellness coach as we navigate the path to a healthier, more confident you. As the owner of Get Fit With Me, I bring years of experience in personal training, nutrition, and coaching to each episode. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and more, all tailored for busy women just like you. Let's empower your wellness journey and achieve lasting transformation together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Morgan Ekovich. A couple months ago now, we dove into a few different sleeping types. So the people who are the busy brains who can't fall asleep, and the people who fall asleep, but they have that 3 a.m. wake up that I think we've all kind of felt at some point. But before we dive in and get to pick Kelly's brain on everything, let me reintroduce you to Kelly Myerson. I found her in a Facebook group, and since then we've worked together. She is my sleep expert. I come to her for everything. So welcome back, Kelly. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so pumped for this conversation. I just have to tell you all that sleep is my favorite subject to really geek out on when we're talking about holistic well-being. Life happens, right? And we often have a lot on our plates as women and moms. For you as an entrepreneur and managing multiple demands on your time and energy at any given moment. Sometimes it's because we've just really put way too much on the to-do list and we haven't taken the time to organize, categorize, and really figure out what has to be on the to-do list, what needs to be on the to-do list for today, this week, this month, this year, and what are some of the things that can either be projected into the future or, guys, delegated. Give them to somebody else, okay? That, I think, is one of the things that we do wrong. I'm going to say wrong. So this is a multi-layered challenge, and it's not necessarily just about getting in bed and falling asleep, but it's about how we take control of all of the 24 hours of the day that we have and make sure that what we're applying our time and energy to makes the most sense for us to be able to prioritize our well-being so that we are available to take care of the other people in our lives. It is not physically possible to be the best mom, spouse, worker, housekeeper, like just keep layering those things on. It's not possible to do it perfectly. Done is better than perfect. Okay. So if your spouse, your kids are helping out and they do a job that would not be the job that you do, you're going to say thank you and you're going to let it go. Because we want to build the sense of everybody contributing so that when it comes time to have fun and play and leisure, when it comes time to rest and sleep, we all have equal access to rest and play and sleep. I have a color-coded family calendar that goes on the fridge that is the same as the shared calendar in my phone between my husband and I, goes onto all our devices. We put everything in there as like a passive aggressive way to say, this is when we're doing this, because we don't always have time to like face-to-face communicate. So really being able to communicate and organize all that for ourselves so we know what's going on helps us so much to know, like in the ebbs and flows of life, when we have to be there to say, no, we really can't do that. That's going to be a no for us. We'll catch you on the next side. All of that stuff is already decided. So we're not in the moment panicked about who's doing what.
And I am an advocate for calendars. I'm an advocate for a system. And all of that reduces that decision fatigue, which then makes that busy brain a little less busy at the end of the night.
So when you're feeling overwhelmed, you're digitally using the computer to tell you what you should do first. Listen, it's got to be fun, guys. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it does.
It
has to be fun.
Like I'm not
Mhm.
sitting there, oh, this is so much work. I'm thinking, this is so great. Look at all these fun things we have to look forward to.
And so we're busy brains. Why is it that even though we can feel so exhausted and run down by the end of the night, that when that head hits the pillow, we still can't just fall asleep like other people?
If you're really struggling and you're trying a lot of these strategies, then that is absolutely the time, if it's not working, to go check with a physician, because there could be a number of reasons. And whether it's somebody who's experiencing a heightened sense of anxiety and there doesn't really seem to be any lifestyle factors that are impacting that, but I'm also doing hormone replacement therapy, because the hormones that your body is no longer producing have such a huge effect on your brain, your bones, your gut, your heart. Like the estrogen goes all over your body. But I think for me, taking that time to work with a physician and not just assume that it was habits that I wasn't doing well or some other factor at play that was lifestyle involved. So I think that is a really important issue to make sure you address. Could there be something medically? And there are people who suffer from sleep apnea. Maybe you're snoring, maybe your partner's snoring. That might be a different issue. It might be a medical issue with them. But thinking about those as potential factors of why you're not falling asleep. So we see these activities, scrolling in particular, being on the phone, the television, whatever screen we're looking at. We see this as relaxing towards the end of the day. We're sitting, but the impact that it's having on your brain is not calming, it's stimulating. So I like to think of rest and sleep as besties. They like to hang out together. So I have a rest bookends for the beginning of the night before I go to sleep. And then in the morning when I wake up, those are my greatest periods of rest during my day.
Social media is essentially giving our brains the same thing that a slot machine does.
The blue lights that we have, oh my gosh, they're everywhere. LED lights emit a lot of light, which makes it hard for your body to release melatonin. Our bodies are designed to rise when the sun comes up and to shut down when the sun goes down. So one of the things you can do is when you get up in the morning, get natural light into your eyes, like stepping outside, no sunglasses, and just letting the light hit your eyes, not staring at the sun, obviously, but letting that morning light hit your eyes, because it's naturally going to set a little bit of an alarm clock to start feeling sleepy towards the end of the day when you'd be winding down and getting ready for bed. Imagine yourself how calm you feel in a candlelit room versus being in your office with overhead fluorescent lights. That's just a different vibe, right? 2 hours before bed doing lower voices, lower lights, like everything is giving your body and your sensory system an inkling that it's time to calm down. So when I learned, if I get myself ready for the next day, take my shower, get in my pajamas, brush my teeth. So literally the last thing I have to do is get him to bed and get me into bed. That was such a game changer for me. Realizing how much we needed that. We realized that the most during COVID when we were home and everybody was working and learning from home, that we had to just stop the insanity. We didn't have to do every packet that we got from school.
Somewhere along the way, we grow into adults and we think that we're too good for routines, that we're too good to have a set bedtime or a set wake up time. And really, if you are listening and you are in that younger stage and you're going through those transitions where you're just now leaving mom and dad's house and you're creating your own life, I highly recommend keeping as many routines as possible, because it is so hard to reset them, restart them.
I would say implement that wind down time for yourself and make it as joy filled as possible. Can you spend a little more time on your skincare routine? Can you take a shower, take a bath? Pick something that lights you up, finding something that's going to make it enjoyable and setting the intention, being really intentional about, I'm going to stop being on my phone by 7:30. I take
Yeah.
magnesium. It does work. Many of us are magnesium deficient. We're not really getting as much as we need through our diet. Magnesium will make you feel a little bit sleepy, which is nice if that's the feeling you're going for. This world is designed for us to be overstimulated, always engaged, hyper vigilant. You can choose, no, I don't want to be. Between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., I'm not available for that. Like, I am going to be focused on what I need to do for my well-being and the well-being of my family. The dopamine hits are not as intense, but let me tell you, when you start to get better quality sleep regularly, when you haven't, you're going to notice a difference in your mental health, your physical health, your resilience, your ability to talk with other people. You're just the version of you that's available for all the things that are important to you in your life is going to be much more calm and available for problem solving.
For those people who can't fall asleep, those busy brains. And I know there's a lot of you that listen that you fall into that category. I am not one of them. I am that somebody, and I'm very lucky and fortunate, I know, to be able to, that head hits the pillow and I am out. I fall into that 3 a.m. wake up. I don't always know why, but I know that if I look at my phone, it's between 2:30 and 3 every single time. And it frustrates me because why am I waking up? I just fell asleep. I felt really good, and I could honestly get up and get going with my day. But I know that will not be a good thing. Why does that happen? Why do some people they can fall asleep and then all of a sudden, and it may not be 3 a.m., but it's that middle of the night. Why do we just wake up? Like, why does that happen?
I'm going to tell you off the bat as you're listening, if this is you, that there are some potential contributing factors. So one of them is environmental. The other may be either activities, habits, or things that you ate or drank earlier in the day. And the other could be related to hormone shifts that happen in your body, depending on, if you're a woman, what phase of life you're in. And then I would say the fourth category could be the season that you're in, or it could even be planetary, the moon. Those things, I just will tell you, I found can also contribute. So let's talk about the environment that is most conducive to sleep. So first of all, we want it to be cool. So cooler than we think. We actually drop a couple degrees in temperature when we're falling asleep. So that helps us to fall asleep, to get into that state of rest for our body. And so if our room is too warm, that could be one contributing factor. Or you could be nice and cool when you fall asleep, and either your pajamas, your bedding, the person that's next to you is cooking you and the heat wakes you up. So that could be one sensory factor. Light could be a huge factor. So we really want our bedroom spaces to be as dark as possible, because even the smallest amount of light, a pinhole, your cell phone facing up and the light coming on could be an alert to your body, because our brain is waiting from the dark for those signals from the sun coming up that it's time to get up. So if those signals are happening in the middle of the night, that could be causing you to wake up. The thing that keeps our marriage stable is that we always give each other permission, if we need a really good night's sleep, to sleep separate. So we have like an extra bed in a guest room, and it says nothing about the stability of your relationship. And then also just acknowledging, like, sometimes sleeping together is not giving us the best night of sleep for one reason or another. Like you said, the coughing, the snoring. So yeah, I think giving yourself permission. And let's not forget that if you're a parent, so we're assuming that the 3 a.m. wake up here is not because somebody came and tapped you on the shoulder, scared the bejesus out of you, and said, I'm thirsty. So it could be as simple as you had caffeine too close into bedtime. We all metabolize caffeine differently. So I know for myself, if I have any caffeine afternoon, it's likely going to impact me. So afternoon, like within 8 10, 12 hours, you could still have that caffeine in your system, and it has a half-life. So it could be less than when you had that cup of coffee and it gave you a nice rejuvenation, but it could be coming back to visit you. Alcohol puts you in a false state of theta, kind of, it downgrades, makes you feel a little more relaxed. But what happens is when it exits your system, you're not actually relaxed. That was a fake relax. So now you could wake up. And if you're someone who suffers from acid reflux, then you may not want to do too much of eating or drinking anything close into bedtime. I try not to eat or drink anything other than water after dinner time, because I find I sleep so much better. I'm less likely to experience heartburn, and I tend to stay asleep longer. And that's from running the experiment for myself. So if you're a woman who is in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, you are probably experiencing some of the symptoms of perimenopause. And I would make sure that you're speaking with your physician, your OBGYN, or a holistic practitioner, which is the route that I went, to look at your blood levels and to consider whether or not there are treatments that will work for you. There's now more research showing that women actually need more sleep. A lot of the research studies, or most, if not all, research studies on sleep in the past have been on men, because I think we can also be super intuitive and really read ourselves and figure out ourselves. And that can be really empowering, that you don't need a physician to tell you about your body. You probably know a lot intuitively about it. Sometimes we're not really great at taking care of ourselves. And I think for me, it was like a true wake up call to, one, continue to be tireless advocate for myself and my health and well-being. And two, to keep being curious. Like if something isn't working well, keep going, keep trying different things, and really prioritize your own health and well-being, because that could be a contributing factor.
And a lot of times we do get our yearly blood work, but it's such a generic that, like, I don't know how many times we've all been told, oh, they look normal. Your labs look normal. Well, I feel like shit. So something is not normal. And just because something is common doesn't make it normal.
When you find yourself awake, whether you know it's one of those four things or you have no clue, let's talk about some strategies and things you can do in that moment. The first thing I'm going to tell you is you're not going to look at your phone. You're not going to look at the clock. You're just going to take a deep breath. You're going to put your hand on your heart and your hand on your belly. And you're just going to think to yourself, it's okay. I'm okay. It is okay to be awake right now. I am awake for some reason, and it is okay. We're not going to get upset with ourselves. We're not going to get frustrated. We're going to just breathe and be, because if the worst thing that happens is we cannot fall asleep or can't fall asleep for a while, we're going to focus on resting our bodies. We're going to put our brain to work so it doesn't get busy on us and start going through our to-do list. We're going to put it to work. We're going to do any number of techniques. So you could just keep doing that breathing, just breathing in and breathing out and paying attention to the air coming in and out of your nose. You could focus on relaxing different parts of your body, where you can start at your feet and up to your head, or from your head and down to your feet, and just tensing and holding and relaxing. You could do some graded breathing, where you're breathing in for 4, holding for 7, out for 8, which is great if your brain gets busy, because then you're focused on, I'm breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you give your brain something to do. Okay. If you got an ultra busy brain, you've tried all the relaxing, it's not going to work for you. It's okay. I got something for you too. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to put your brain to work, and you're going to visualize the next day going splendidly well, perfectly, from the time your feet hit the floor till you get into bed. And you're going to envision it in bright detail. This is also a technique you can use at bedtime if you're having trouble falling asleep. Giving your brain something to do when you have a busy brain or when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just feeling really frustrated, it really helps to tell your brain what to do, whether you're counting. You could also count backwards from 300 by threes.
Kelly, any last words before we jump on off here?
Yeah, I think we all deserve a great night of sleep, and we're all at our best when we've had a great night of sleep. So if this is the sign for you to prioritize your sleep, do it. You will never regret going to bed earlier. I'm telling
No.
you, it is the best feeling in the world to be like, I am cozying up in bed a little bit earlier tonight. And I just know that the version of me that's going to show up for work, for my family, for myself is going to be such a better emotionally stable problem solver. And so that motivates me. And I don't know, it just feels really good to take care of yourself like that. Like you said earlier, parent yourself. Tell yourself, this is time. Let's get to it. Let's get some good rest.
I love it. Kelly, thank you so much. Remember to check out the show notes for anything that I've talked about or anything that Kelly's talked about. If you are a little bit curious, check them out on your own time. And when you have a chance or you think somebody in your life would really be impacted from this episode, if you know they are chronically fatigued and they're really struggling, send them this episode, share it with them, let them know that they are not alone in this journey. And if you guys ever have any questions, reach out to us. Until next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Empower Her Wellness podcast. I hope you found today's episode inspiring and packed with actionable tips. Remember, your journey to becoming the strongest, most confident version of yourself is just beginning. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and join our community of empowered women. Until next time, stay strong and stay confident.